The creek gurgled and flowed as Linley sat cross-legged, holding a flat knife and a palm-sized stone. He began his practice by focusing on the basics, using the small stone as his starting point. In the hills behind the Institute, Linley practiced carving alone under the guidance of Dennis, and as he went on, he began to realize how the act was helping him enhance his will force. Others needed a wide range of tools for carving, each requiring careful selection and use. It was undoubtedly a labor-intensive task, and every good piece that emerged was the result of meticulous effort. The flat knife technique took a unique approach by using only a flat knife, eliminating the need to switch between various tools. This method required an exceptional level of precision in mastering the stone's texture, as tasks that typically needed specialized carving knives had to be accomplished with just one flat knife. Strength was crucial because large stone pieces typically required an axe to split, but wielding only a flat knife required considerable power. Earth mages, with their unique abilities, could intuitively sense the stone's properties. However, developing the wrist strength required for carving demanded rigorous training. Linley, now a Tier 2 mage, possessed enough strength to craft small pieces, but it was still insufficient for larger works. However, Linley was only laying the groundwork for his future endeavors. When the school year ended, Linley returned to Raven Peak Village, where he spent some quality time with his brother, Wharton. Then, under the care of Shane, the 6-year-old, with tears streaming down his face, parted ways and headed to the sovereign dominion of Westhaven. Spring turned to autumn, flowers bloomed and withered. In no time, 3 years passed. Linley stood near a cascading waterfall in the hills behind the Institute, where he often practiced his stone carving skills. The waterfall rumbled as it cascaded down, crashing into the deep pool below. He stood by the waterfall, holding a nearly 12-inch chisel, carving continuously on a waist-high boulder. The chisel moved in a blur, and with each stroke, stone chips flew off, gradually revealing the rough outline of the sculpture. Linley worked tirelessly throughout the day, and as the hours passed, the stone carving gradually took shape with increasing clarity. His eyes were completely focused on the sculpture. At this moment, he seemed to be one with nature, his entire being in harmony with the stone. This marvelous feeling made him lose track of time. Being so intimately connected with nature actually started rejuvenating and invigorating his will force, the mental strength crucial for a magician's prowess. Linley himself seemed unaware, still wielding the nearly 12-inch chisel as if it were an extension of his arm. As stone chips continuously fell away, the sculpture's features became more pronounced. When the sun set, the chisel in Linley's hand finally stopped. Linley let out a soft breath. Stone dust scattered as the completed sculpture was fully revealed. There stood a nearly 2-feet-long rat, so lifelike that at first glance it seemed real, causing Nimbles to squeak noisily beside it. Linley completed the sculpture in one seamless effort, from start to finish. He had only now realized that his will force had improved significantly. Dennis, dressed in a white robe, smiled and said from nearby, "Linley, from today, you're officially a novice. You experienced that incredible sensation, right? However, your work only looks impressive on the surface. It belongs in the regular exhibition hall of the local art gallery. Displaying it elsewhere would embarrass me. Destroy it." Without a word, Linley's chisel flashed several times, cutting the original sculpture into a dozen pieces. Day after day, year after year, Linley's journey in mastering magic was marked by remarkable milestones. At 19 and a half, he achieved the status of a Tier 2 mage. By 21, he had advanced to a Tier 3 mage. Astonishingly, by 23, he had already become a Tier 4 mage. The difficulty of advancing mage tiers increased drastically. Logically, for Linley to progress from a 4th tier to a 5th tier mage would take at least 3 years. However, Linley defied expectations by advancing from a 4th tier to a 5th tier mage in just a year and a half. In the autumn of the next year, when Linley was 25, he reached the level of a Tier 5 mage. It took him only a year and a half to progress from a 4th tier to a 5th tier, even shorter than the time it took to advance from 3rd to 4th. This captured the key ideas of the flat knife unique carving techniques, emphasizing simplicity and precision. Linley, dressed in a sky blue robe, walked along the path of Oakfield Institute, the Nightshade Rodent, Nimbles, still perched on his shoulder. Even after 6 or 7 years, his size hadn't changed at all. Linley, standing at 5 feet 11 inches, radiated a composed and steady presence. His strength, bolstered by the transformative powers of earth and wind elements, along with his rigorous training and the unique traits of his dragon blood heritage, granted him the prowess of a Tier 4 warrior. This was a unique mix, since usually mages had no warrior power level and vice versa. Linley had the power level of a Tier 4 warrior and a Tier 5 dual-element mage at the same time. He could easily lift boulders weighing several hundred pounds and shatter rocks with a single punch. The study of flat blade techniques had also led to a continuous increase in Linley's will force since he first started. While Dexter took 3 years to advance from a 4th-tier magus to a pentacle magus, a level indicating mastery over 5 magical elements, he struggled to progress to a hexad arcanist, which required control over 6 elements. At 26, Linley was already a pentacle magus, a level indicating mastery over 5 magical elements, a feat that placed him and Dexter among the Academy's elite. Yet, in the eyes of most, Linley's rapid advancement was even more remarkable, as he seemed to have leaped from 4th tier to 5th tier in just a year. Linley's astonishing rate of progress amazed everyone. Linley and Dexter were recognized by everyone in the Academy as the 2 unmatched prodigies at Oakfield Institute. Look, it's Linley. 2 years ago, he reached the 4th tier, and last year, he advanced to the 5th tier. In just 1 year. It's incredible. I bet Linley will reach the 6th tier even earlier than Dexter, people whispered in hushed tones as they passed by. Linley trains diligently in the hills behind the institute every day. I heard Dexter has also started practicing there recently, probably influenced by Linley. It's very likely. With Linley's astonishing rate of progress, he might even replace Dexter as the top mage of our institute. As Linley walked along the path, whispers trailed him, a testament to his growing reputation. At the institute, Linley and Dexter, the unmatched prodigies, were always the center of attention, their extraordinary talents sparking endless discussions. Despite his formidable abilities, Linley chose not to participate in the annual school competitions, focusing instead on personal growth and mastery. Genius? Linley gave a self-deprecating smile. Linley never saw himself as a genius. His achievements were the result of relentless hard work every day for 6 years at the Institute, along with the meticulous guidance of the old man, Dennis. But my strength still can't compare to Nimbles, Linley said as he glanced at the little guy beside him. Nimbles, what level have you reached now? Nimbles grinned at Linley, his thoughts reaching out through their mental link. I have no idea. I've never gone up against other dire creatures, but I know you're no match for me, haha. Nimbles' eyes sparkled with satisfaction while Linley laughed it off. Then, unfazed by the admiring gazes and discussions around him, he calmly exited the back door of the Institute. He entered the hills behind the Institute to begin the same rigorous training as in the past. 6 years of relentless hard work, day in and day out, was the cornerstone of his success, and he was not about to stop now. Linley moved swiftly and gracefully through the mountains. Nimbles, meanwhile, communicated eagerly through their soul link. Linley, when are we going to take on the Beastwood Challenge? You've reached the level of a Pentacle Magus, mastering 5 magical elements. So you can start the challenge now. I can't wait to show off my skills too, Linley replied briefly. It's disappointing that I've never been to Beastwood, especially considering my nature as a dire creature. It's quite sad. After 6 years, Nimbles had become much better at expressing himself. Quiet. If you keep making a noise, I won't help you grill meat today. As soon as Linley said this, the little guy immediately shut his mouth. As Linley navigated swiftly through the mountains, Dennis appeared and accompanied him, levitating beside him as he moved. Linley, Dennis suddenly spoke. What is it, old man, not getting enough sleep? Based on your recent progress, I'm pleased to say you're now proficient in stone carving. Linley's eyes lit up. His mentor had a peculiar temperament. If a stone carving didn't meet his standards, even if completed, it had to be destroyed. In his words, such works, if left in the world, would disgrace our school and disgrace me, an archmage of my stature. Because of this, Linley had no choice but to destroy one marketable piece after another. Level of mastery? Old man, you mean? Linley asked with excitement. Dennis nodded with a cheerful smile and said, "Yes, from today onwards, your completed stone carvings are worthy of preservation and exhibition. You can also send them to the Cynosure Society to sell."
Wait, that's not the end. You've just had a free taste. Now get the full story on the Pocket FM app, link in description. Check out our next video and play